Well, hi everyone. Today is a fun day. My wife Brianne and I are going to show you just some very simple techniques that you can do through pregnancy to relax your hips, to take pressure off a baby, and just make things a heck of a lot more comfortable. So Bree's going to demonstrate these. These are things that we do, as we've gotten towards this third trimester, pretty much every night, and it's given her a lot of relief in her hips and her back, and just made things more comfortable. And it should allow for pregnancy to go a lot smoother. So Bree and I are just going to walk you through what we're doing, and I'll try and explain what's happening through the process as well. So Bree, we're going to start with the pelvic rocks on all hands and knees. So she's going to be down on her hands and her knees, and this allows the baby to drop down. It takes pressure off of her back. And what she's doing is she's rocking her pelvis, which is this triangle bone between her hip bones. She's just rocking this back and forth. And as she rocks it back and forth, it allows the hip bones to open up and relax. And this can just give you a lot of relief when your low back is sore, your hips are sore. Now, as she's doing this, something that I'll do is I'll take a firm ball. This is a lacrosse ball. It's very hard. You can just take something that's a little bit harder, and then I'll go right on the hip bone. So I'll essentially look right around the hip bone here or here, and I can even work the low back muscles. And I'm going to get this ball right on this joint, and it's just going to be a type of massage. And so when I get in here, I can just roll this ball right on her pelvic bone as she's doing her rocks, or if she just wants to relax like this. And this just gives her a lot of relief. And so she was starting to have some hip and low back pain in her pregnancy, and we were adjusting her, and this just seemed to take it to that next step where it's not uncomfortable anymore. So it's just kind of a nice thing for her to do to open up those hips. So that's one exercise we'll do. That's normally the one that we start with. And then we're going to do the rebozo. And you can take any blanket to do this, but something that's thinner is a lot easier. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the baby. So we'll wrap this around the baby on the top and the bottom. It almost cradles the child. And so now Bree's back on her hands and her knees. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand over top, and I'm going to just real gently, because remember, you're picking the child up. So I'm going to carry the weight of the child to take it off of Bree's back and off of her body. And so I'm going to lift up gently, nice and slow. And then now I'm holding the weight of the baby, and then I'll just slowly rock this back and forth. And so you can go side to side like this, and it's really comfortable for mom. It's really relaxing for her. It's easy on the uterus, and you're just taking the weight off of her back and her hips. So moms tend to love this. And so just nice, easy rocks. And then you can almost do it like almost like an S shape or a swirl that you're doing as well. And you want to go nice and slow. It's easy to go too fast here, but you want to go just nice, easy, and slow. And the big thing here, when you're releasing baby, go nice and slow down. It's almost like you could drop your child here, so don't do that. So just real easy, relax the baby and let it down. So we'll usually do a couple minutes of the pelvic rock, and then we'll do a couple minutes of the rebozo. The thinner the blanket, the easier it is as you're holding it. The thicker, it's just going to be hard on your forearms. The next thing that we do is what do we do next?
The inversion.
Inversion. Okay, so Bree's going to sit. Normally at home we'll do this on our couch. So she's going to get on her knees, and then she's going to lean forward. And it's helpful to have, we usually have like a stool or something right next to her. But she's going to get down on all fours, and she's leaning down on her shoulders. And essentially what's happening is as she tips upside down, here's our baby model, it's allowing the baby to essentially slide down, and is taking pressure off of the hips and off of the low back. And so she'll lay here. So she'll sit here for 30 seconds to a minute or two, and just let this relax off of her hips. And then she's going to come up. That's your phone. And then she's going to come up. The most important part of all of this is the first part is you're down, and the baby gets to slide down in your pelvis. But then when you come back up, you want to sit up straight like Bree is, where her hips and her legs are aligned. You don't want to actually be rocking back like this. You want to sit up nice and straight, and it allows baby to just fall down into the pelvis really easily. This can help when a mom, one, it takes pressure off the hips, but two, if you want to see the baby turn or move, it can help the baby to get to be head down, or it can help the child to turn so that they're not sunny side up, or you're not having a problem that way. So it really can make a difference there. So she'll do this a couple times. So normally she'll go back down on her forearms, wait a minute or two, and then come back up. If you get lightheaded, stop. If your arms get tired, stop. Don't push yourself further than what you can do. just go to comfort. But 2 or 3 repetitions of that and she does really well. And then the last one we're gonna do is what we call side lying. And so she's gonna lay, again, we normally do this on our couch. She's gonna lay on the side of this bench. And she's gonna be as close to the edge as she can. And you can come over this way, Kelsey, if you wanna see, get an angle. So she's gonna be as close to the edge as she can, and the baby's just gonna hang off the edge here. And now my job is, you wanna have 2 people here, so come on a little bit closer over this way, is I wanna hold and support her shoulders and her to be about as straight as we can get, and her hips to be about as straight as we can get. And once we do that, she's gonna lift this leg up and just let it drop forward. And what this is gonna do, it's gonna relax all of the muscles in her pelvis. And so we just sit here for a minute or 2, or actually we do it for more than that, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. We just sit like this for a couple minutes. It relaxes all the pelvic muscles. They say this can relax those muscles for anywhere from 1 to 4 hours. So if someone's in labor, they might do this every 2 to 4 hours just to relax these pelvic muscles. So she's gonna do this on one side, and let's say that the time has passed, and then we're gonna have her sit up, and then we're gonna flip and we're gonna do it on the other side. And so my job here is just to stabilize the hips. I wanna see the hips be as straight up and down as I can, and the shoulders be as straight up and down as I can, and then she drops her leg forward. And so I'm just supporting that right here. Again, a routine of this, it just makes life a lot easier for mom and for baby, and so it goes really, really smooth for everybody, and it just gives us time to talk every single night. And so, all right, Bree, we're gonna have you sit up here. And so those are some very simple things that you can do. Along with that, as you're getting further along, the Webster technique is something that a lot of chiropractors are trained to do. It's something that I'll do for a lot of our pregnant moms as they get towards the end of their pregnancy. It just relaxes these pelvic ligaments so that the uterus muscle can relax and it can move easier, baby can move easier, and it just goes a lot smoother for everybody. And so that's something, as a mom, as you get into that 3rd trimester, I'll likely start doing that, or we'll start talking about that. If you have questions along the way, be sure to ask us, but that routine really makes a difference. Anything you want to add with any of that, Bree, or did we pretty much get it?
I think you covered most of it. I think the first exercise that we did, those pelvic rocks, that you can do daily from as early on in pregnancy as you want. The rest of them, I don't think are, isn't till a little bit later in pregnancy, maybe 3rd trimester, when you start to feel the baby weight and that, but
okay.
the rest are good.
Okay, so if you have more questions, ask us in the office. Thanks.